get out and vote, like it was a governor's election, every one of you in the Democratic Party need to get out there for Bill Satai. Please don't let this get by us or anything else. A big mistake. I mean, we got some really great people. I mean, if we could get Bill in at the Senate, if we could get Michael Passero in as mayor, Ernie Hewitt, see you later. I mean, locally, and God bless Andy Main, and I wrote about it, and I'm really sorry, Andy. I'm really worried. Andy's a really good friend, personal friend, and Senator Maynard is in the hospital and recovering from his injury. We hope we stay away because the family, it's a tight thing. But with the leadership that we have in the area, we got a chance. And of course, I'll talk about the museum later on in the show, because that's about the most positive thing I think we have going for us at this point until this guy gets out. And you know the guy. I'm going to bring the dummy in, I think, next week. Well, I can't do it next week because I got the ladies on. So, but I'm going to bring you and I got to. Dominic wants the dummy back. I've got a lot of calls for the dummy. But but again, here's a situation that gets by, and you wonder what's going on, what are you trying to do, and how did this happen? And of course, I look at it from years ago when organized crime kind of stuff. That's the kind of moves you make when you're looking to take over. Okay,
from an independence point of view, who is not really kind of just looking at it from a purely management point of view, it just makes you sort of cringe. It makes you sort of think, this is just emblematic of an underlying fault, which is people just not taking care of business.
Not taking care of business, not doing your job, not doing due diligence.
And why that is, it just breeds a sort of a sense of unease.
Yeah, and from a business standpoint, if you're developing business in a town like this, and you get somebody, you ain't going to do it. You're not going to go there.
People used to say, the economy is not picking up because business is uncertain. It's that sort of intangible thing.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, people pay politicians. They go out and elect. They pay politicians. They say, okay, now take care of business.
Take care of business.
There's a modicum of basic business, day-to-day business, that needs to be done.
Unless you're a Republican in the Washington.
And ever since this guy has been in office, there's been a litany, step after step, of things which are just, you think, this is 101 political. Politician type stuff, and he's getting them wrong.
Well,
this is 101, management of a town. He's getting it wrong.
Well, he was a good academic student. It's someone like those who can't do need to teach. He was, because I checked out his academic record, but he had no administrative capability whatsoever.
I go back to the time when he said, the New London police from now on don't have to check on marijuana.
No, when it was against the law. What?
I said,
what, are you crazy? You don't do that.
You're mayor. You're not.
You're not a kid.
You're not
playing a playground.
You haven't kind of
grew up,
remade the law. You can't change the law, whether you like it or not.
Well,
and whether you think that marijuana should be legal, which generally I think it should be because it's
absolutely.
But
that's irrelevant.
I mean, I'm a citizen, and I express an opinion about it. I'm not a newly elected politician who's elected to enforce the laws that exist.
I know it.
He doesn't have a lawmaking capacity anyway. He's an executive. He kind of
Oh, yeah.
That's what he does. He doesn't make laws.
Well, there was so much confusion. I actually like
And then
the
every
situation
single,
thing all the way down the line.
and this is just another example,
It's scary. It's
I
scary
mean, when
stuff.
you dig into it, you probably find that, he wasn't connected with it. I'm not saying he is directly responsible for it, and the education board, it probably isn't responsible for
Oh, he
this.
has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, he has nothing to do with
No, no. But as far as the other stuff he does,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, and see,
But the Board of Education may be sort of blameless in it. But then again, I mean, who else is there to blame? They employed the search company.
Oh, yeah. It's a search company.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, who do you blame?
Well, exactly. That's the.
And then you're left with, these things just happen.
Well, that's so scary.
Well, they don't.
I know it.
They don't just happen,
Well,
Somebody should have said, all these qualifications, have you checked all these qualifications?
exactly.
Have you got transcripts of all these qualifications?
Well, if the paper didn't catch that, if the Current didn't catch it, he would be hired now, and that's the difficulty. And then there's some individuals that don't understand the quality of what it means to be at that level when you're dealing with a school changing and as an administrator and everything else. He had accolades from Illinois, supposedly. He had, but then when you started going in the background, obviously there was problems with paying bills and stuff like that. So you get into ethical.
That's a personal
thing, but it's
ethics. But actual fact that these personal sort of I don't know what you call them, situations in life.
Right.
I mean, all of us have kind of
troubles
at various times in life.
At various times, right.
But you're up front and you.
Yeah, if you put this is the way it was, this is the way it happened.
I'm not trying to hide anything.
Right,
this is the way
exactly
it is.
right.
And I'm not saying he's trying to hide anything. All I'm saying is that if his CV was saying he was a doctor and at that particular moment
he was not.
Then that's a problem.
That's it. That's a problem.
That's a problem.
That's a major problem. Exactly right. And
there's no. I mean, in the UK where I came from, I was in education, and
I know you were.
In the States, you have to have not only an education degree, although that's not necessarily. But anyway, you've got to have a license to teach.
Right. Depending
in
on the
every
level.
state.
No.
Well,
not at college.
I assumed it was at almost.
No.
Colleges are not teaching.
Colleges, no. You don't need no license.
No, in the UK, you don't need a teacher's certificate to lecture.
Yeah, right.
Now, in the UK, all you need is a teaching certificate.
Yeah.
A teaching certificate, or certificate of education.
Education, right.
And you get a number.
Right.
You get a number. Once you got that number, that's it. You don't have to necessarily produce qualifications as long as you've got that teaching certificate. That proves that you have
the qualifications to teach.
You can teach children.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
If you have a BEd, most people have BEds in education because it's a graduate profession. I mean, it started changing from in 60s and 70s, and in the 80s. It went totally over to all the certificates of education changed to BEds.
Okay.
So everyone became a graduate profession, and in the States it is basically a graduate profession.
It is, yeah.
So in education, if you go for jobs in education, it's basically more often than not. I mean, 8-9 times out of 10, you're going for a job which is taxpayers' money, whether it's in this country it's the state, or in the UK it's government money.
Right.
Because most of the schools in the UK are what you call public. We don't call them public in the UK because public education in the UK is actually private. It's weird, but never mind. I mean, it's all paid by the government. So therefore, you have a teacher's license. Once you have that number, then any qualifications are subject related.
Yeah.
You know, sort of mathematicians, one would expect them to have a,
Yeah,
a maths degree in science. And
Well,
all that.
that's basically the same thing here.
But you can't fudge these things.
Well, you're at an administrative level. Well, obviously he was in charge of certain things, but obviously masters. He's got a master's. Okay, well, because he has to have a master's to move to the PhD level. I should shut my mouth there because I did not read the I did not read the transcript to see. Okay, because it's bachelor's, then your master's, and then your PhD. So you move, but. Okay.
The other thing about it is that it's online.
Oh,
It's an online PhD, I think. I don't want to malign the guy because I don't really know.
It's questionable about a couple of the things and everything else like that. Certification. There was one thing about ministerial stuff. Well, ministerial stuff in theology is a totally different. You know, and well, it's not quite totally different depending on where you go and stuff like that. It's very different than when you're talking about teaching administrative in school things. Okay, so there's a difference in the degrees and what's required in the degrees and everything else like that. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Michigan, my ex-wife was Michigan, and one from Michigan. I had a wife that obviously a lot of people had no common sense, but a brilliant lady. Hers was, one was from Phoenix. The Phoenix College. She has a PhD from Phoenix and one from Michigan. She has bachelor's and she has several masters. But she's one of these nerds that you know. So I mean, I just couldn't understand. What I couldn't understand is how this agency, McPherson and Jacobson, and they're out of Nebraska, this consulting firm, didn't have all the transcripts. I mean, that's all you need. You go and you send for the transcripts and everything else, and then you find out where the guy's working, because he was working in Illinois, and he had some good references from what the program he was doing there, and everything else like that. But basically, the first thing you do is get his transcripts. Well, if you got his transcripts, and his transcripts don't, just like you, it's like, but numbers, it's a lot, you know, that would say he's got a PhD or he doesn't. End the story. It would have ended right there.
No, absolutely.
Doesn't make no sense.
There is a procedural breakdown in this case, because
Yeah.
he shouldn't have even got to the shortlist.
No, he shouldn't even.
And
they
some
should
have
have said no.
got
Yeah.
to the first. To get to the shortlist, everyone gets interviewed. Say there's 6 candidates.
Yeah.
Interviews.
Yeah,
I don't know how many there were.
They're right.
And then from that, you have a shortlist.
Right.
Probably 1 or 2.
Well, that's what happened with our poor town
he's-
thing. So they're thinking he's all cleared, and they're talking whatever, and no, whatever. Oh, and I don't see. We don't have all the story, because don't know if he misrepresented himself, or if he said no, I'm not a doctor yet, or what the story was. But I mean, what a mess that was. But that's this
From a
this
PR
city-
point of view, it is a mess.
Oh, it is a mess. Well, everything, that's what I'm saying. Why, we're always in this PR mess here. And we want people to come to New London. People get mad at me. And my own relatives call me up and say, what, are you crazy? You know, my daughter doing the business here, and said they told her, no, you shouldn't do it in New London. You need to move out of that place, okay, because of the reputation. Every time you're turning around, there's something fouled up in this city, and it's a public relations mess, you know, and of course, which gets me, I'm watching my time too, which gets me to my point about the Coast Guard Museum. Okay, I mean, this is a positive. However, as a Coast Guard family member, We have a lot of family that are in Coast Guard. Admiral Papp obviously just joined, which I knew he was going to do anyways, just joined the, that's so bitter, the committee that's dealing with the museum. Okay, well, he's from here, and God bless him. He's newly retired and everything else like that. He brought the board of directors of the National Coast Guard Museum Association, and they're trying to raise all this money, okay, from families for the Coast Guard Museum, which, I mean, they're asking me all the time, I get, buy a brick, it's $1,000, I believe it's $1,000, whatever. Well, do I want the Coast Guard? I do want the Coast Guard Museum here. I have to say, that's why Father hasn't gone on his Coast Guard sites and rattled all the families, because I do want the Coast Guard, because I believe the academy the academy's here. My daughter's a graduate. I have another relative graduate of the. We have 7 family members presently serving in the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
And, so obviously I would like to see it here, and I think that would be one of the greatest things for New London and the development over the next 20 years.
Absolutely.
And of course, we have the seacoast that's going to be developed because of the Panama Canal and all that stuff that is going on. So they're going to sink millions and millions of dollars into the seacoast here, and it would be a great opportunity.
I mean, wasn't it last week you had one of the biggest...
the festival. Yeah, Sailfest.
No, the ship coming in. With all the...
that's Sailfest. Oh, the Amistad, and had the thing over the and the
cruise
other
ship.
Oh, the cruise ship.
The cruise ship.
Oh, I don't get into cruise ships because that's one of my cousin's business, and I know.
What I'm saying is that it.
But it could with it could develop into a great resource, and they've tried with that. Okay, and. Lots of what usually happens is the cruise ship comes in and everything else. They skip over New London and they go out to the.
But the museum,
But the museum being here.
The ship came in, and the what's that organisation on State Street that deals with New London?
The New London. Oh God.
The name escapes me, but they put on a good show.
They did
put
great.
on a great reception.
They did a great
for all
reception.
these people
All the
visiting people.
Oh yeah, they did.
From all over the world.
What's her name? Oh God, they're gonna kill me because I.
I know
well, this is bad.
The name's left us.
Right. But
that's in line with the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard. If the Coast Guard Museum goes to New London. You're going to have people from all over the world.
Yeah.
All over the world.
Well, see...
365 days of the year, they're going to be potentially coming.
What a lot of people don't understand about our Coast Guard, our Coast Guard train all over the world and been everywhere. Here we go. God bless you. You're on Street Talk with Father Russ and Mike. Hello.
Father Russ.
Yeah.
This is Hat from Waterford. I just came in from the ballpark.
Hey, Hat, bless you. How are you?
You'll excuse me because I did not hear the first part of the show, but I picked up the day paper today, and I saw that the Board of Education apparently paid this firm from Nebraska $16,000.
Yeah.
We think it's more than that.
I mean, absolutely absurd. Can we sue them?
Well, I think we can get it back, and the woman she's going to kill me too, called us up at the first part of the show. She thinks it's far more than that because they brought people here and everything, so we really don't know how much money. But wasn't that outrageous, Hat?
Absolutely outrageous, and I don't know like you do in the city and everything, but you know me, I'm astounded, and I'm just a regular layman, but I'm astounded to get paid. Give this firm This guy has 2 bankruptcies in 2 different states.
Oh, yeah,
And-
yeah.
and
Oh, yeah, they're
they have-
finding out
they
all
want him
kinds
to
of
be the
stuff.
Board of I mean,
Yeah.
the superintendent?
Superintendent, they're finding out now, and it was the current that exposed it. Otherwise he would have
Collins,
snuck.
tremendous.
They would have snuck right in. Oh, and then Dave Collins did a good article on him too. But it was the current that was the initial ones that found it, and I mean,
Education should be ashamed of themselves in New London, Father.
Well, it's not our board. I really believe the state. I think the state made a serious mistake, and the company that did the vetting and all that stuff. It was a serious mess. A serious mess.
And the other thing I have to mention
Yeah.
is this Amistad mess. They got a lot of nerve not keeping records properly, apparently, or whatever. And these people have been given so much state money, they weren't going to come. Thank God that at least.
Well, thankfully, it's nothing to do with New London.
Be here if they wanted to have the money for the Sailfest.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's an embarrassment. What kind of records?
Well, you gotta turn your TV on. Obviously, the governor did the right thing there. They get $400,000 a year. They spent a fortune. I guess they're losing their 501(c)(3) status, their nonprofit status. That Amistad is a mess. I wish to God it was stationed down here, though. I mean, I would love to see a committee take that over and bring it back. I mean, we should own that. I don't understand. The taxpayers of Connecticut.
I mean,
should be ours.
I'm gonna send a letter off to Governor Malloy
Go ahead.
to see if I can get $400,000 for aluminum baseball bats for the Waterford Babe Ruth League.
There you go. Right, the Babe Ruth League, right? Yeah.
No, because the boys, they only see. We have money in Waterford, so
I
we
know
use
it.
the bat once, and then that's the end of it. Because the bat doesn't get the hits. You know what I mean?
I know it.
All right, Father. God bless you. Enjoy
Okay,
the show.
bye-bye.
I
I'll
like
see you
talking
soon.
about this.
I'll see you
Maybe
down.
one of us will
Geez,
snap out of it one of these days.
yeah. Tell Peter and George I said hello.
All right,
We
buddy.
gotta see him. Bless you, Hat. My God, I can't believe it. We're sitting here, we got 4 minutes. So I'm probably not gonna get to the other stuff I wanted to talk about because, we'll do that another night. Well, I mean, we move through stuff real quick. But on a positive note, the museum is seriously positive, and I do want to leave on an uplift that our city can pull out of stuff. And with leadership like Michael Passero, with leadership like Bill Sadai, I think we could turn this stuff around. With leadership like Admiral Papp, because that's what's going to happen. Admiral Papp, and I believe Admiral Allen is going on the committee too. I believe the Coast Guard with the museum down there is you're going to have a different type of leadership that's going to affect a lot of the sea area in which will help develop this thing. That's my belief, and it's my belief, and we're going to do the business here because even though some of my family think we're crazy, but we're looking to we're looking to stay. Like, believe it or not, I have family here and some across the river, but they use different names because they don't want to get in the controversy. Mike, as always, I did want to talk about radical Jesus. Boy, I mean, and all those people who think I'm not Father would find out that I'm called Father in here, right?
That actually,
And-
tell them about, they're working on a second book.
They're working on a second book. Yeah, this
John
is the
Vincent,
method.
yeah.
John Vincent, they're working on a second book. They're talking about it, you publishing it here and everything else like that. The method has got a big program in urban theology right now in the New England area that's going on. We got them in Connecticut and Massachusetts and everything else like that. This is a great book. This is the book. This is basically the philosophy that I follow and stuff like that. And I mean, maybe a little to the left of even this, but and they've got a new book coming out, and you grab a hold of it.
What gospel is it? Is
Mark. Yeah, Mark. I almost said Matthew. No, the book, yeah, this is the
Mark.
Gospel of Mark, which is, we believe academically, all the academics believe it's the oldest book, the oldest gospel, oldest book in the Bible. Okay, outside of some letters from Paul, but that's what we believe. We're gonna run. God bless you all, and I'll see you next week. Michael, bless you as always. It's always a pleasure. Okay, and they can run the street. God bless you, Joe.